quiet murmurs circulated among believers on the internet for weeks. A sudden health worry affecting Bishop T.D. Jakes, one of the most revered spiritual leaders in the world, started to circulate. The man appeared to be going through one of his most difficult personal struggles after spending decades giving millions of others courage, life, and faith. The rising anxiety was exacerbated by his absence from previous church gatherings and worrisome posts from followers. The Jakes family said nothing at all in response to questions from people all across the world. Then, one Sunday morning, a video featuring his daughter's voice at last started making the rounds. She spoke in a steady, hopeful, and emotionally charged tone. Hearts simultaneously broke and mended in that instant. She eventually made the decision to reveal what actually transpired behind the scenes after weeks of silence. Her message was about faith, family, and what it really means to trust God in uncertain times. Not only about her father's health, millions of people were profoundly impacted by her comments as they spread. Her candor seemed uncommon, as though she were talking to everyone who had ever hoped for a miracle rather than simply her father. What she said that day would serve as a reminder to everyone that faith has the power to restore strength to every believer, even in the face of illness. As the tale of Bishop T.D. Jakes and his family comes full circle, the miracle of faith that ensued is still more potent than the terrifying moment. One thing emerged from the stillness and uncertainty. Faith is about learning how to rise again with grace, not about never falling. The Jakes family opted for silence while everyone else was frightened, and the whispers were getting stronger. They found power in that silence. Millions of people were led through the mist of uncertainty by Sarah Jakes Roberts' voice. When she did speak, it was without drama or specifics. She gave the truth. She reminded everyone that even the strongest of us are fallible human beings whose fortitude is frequently put to the test in the quiet regions of suffering. Her statement, "Faith works, even when life hurts," was straightforward yet impactful. With those words, questions became prayers and fear became hope. The weight of a daughter's love, which had witnessed her father pour his heart into many others, before realizing that it was now time to pour back into him, lay behind her composed tone. She spoke for everyone who has supported a loved one during difficult times, not just her own family. She reminded everyone that healing takes time, and that sometimes the most potent miracle is the one that occurs gradually, quietly, and day by day. As Bishop Jakes healed, his story evolved from one of health to one of rebirth. His absence from the pulpit was a reset rather than a break in his mission. It was a heavenly reminder that even shepherds and leaders require care and rest. His return to his congregation was a celebration of faith's tenacity rather than merely a comeback. That day, the church erupted in ovation for both the man who lived and the God who kept him alive. This story's universality is what makes it so profoundly poignant. Everybody has times when life compels them to slow down, when their bodies, hearts, or spirits tell them to take a deep breath and start over. The journey of the Jakes family provides authorization to do just that. It emphasizes that taking time to heal is a sign of wisdom rather than weakness. It demonstrates that faith is a personal dialogue with hope rather than a performance. Numerous others are still motivated to persevere a little longer by Sarah's message, which reverberates across church halls and social media. Her bravery in speaking up after so many days of silence transformed her father's trial into a testimonial that continues to touch people all across the world. People were reminded by her experience that miracles are not always audible. Occasionally, they murmur through silent prayers, mild recuperations, and the act of simply having faith that tomorrow will be better. Bishop Jakes' family is evidence that love can sustain us through any adversity, as he continues to walk with grace and strength today. Their faith served as a link between suffering and purpose, terror and tranquility. A fragment of this event will be present in every sermon that follows, and every word Sarah says, serving as a reminder of what it means to put your trust in God when all else fails. Thus, the story ends with light rather than despair. It affirms that love prevails, healing occurs, and faith endures. Remember this journey's lesson for anyone watching or listening who is carrying their own burden. No matter how dark the night may seem, morning always arrives, bringing with it another opportunity to awaken, to believe, and to start over. Context and background. Bishop T.D. Jakes was renowned for his unparalleled vitality. His words carried both force and peace, whether he was preaching to thousands at the Potter's House or sending messages to millions of people online. His sermons served as a reminder for more than 40 years that religion was a daily decision rather than just a Sunday habit, and that brokenness could become strength. However, things changed earlier this year. Something unexpected occurred during a sizable leadership conference. Witnesses claim that Bishop Jakes appeared a little shaky as he left the podium after concluding a powerful speech about tenacity. The audience was continued applauding and whooping, so nobody first noticed anything out of the ordinary. However, the atmosphere swiftly changed behind the stage. There were rumors that the pastor had experienced an unexpected medical issue. His crew moved fast, and he was taken to the hospital right away. The internet was full with queries and presumptions as the news spread. While some prayed in public, others conjectured in secret. Members of the church requested updates, but the family did not provide an official statement. His social media accounts were silent for weeks, which caused followers all across the world to feel uneasy. Everyone wanted to know the truth, but the Jakes family opted to keep it private and concentrate on their healing and faith instead. The silence of the family. Since silence often speaks louder than words, the Jakes family used their quiet as a statement and a barrier. Those closest to Bishop Jakes turned inward, standing together, praying and hoping, while the public waited for answers. Sarah Jakes Roberts, his daughter and a well-known author and pastor, discreetly stopped using social media. She abruptly stopped being active and involved on the internet. As her supporters became aware of this, conjecture only intensified. However, Sarah and her family were coping with something much more intimate behind the scenes. They were taking care of a father, a husband, and a man who had dedicated his life to uplifting others, not simply a leader. The family surrounded him with consolation, scripture, and prayer, as the doctors advised rest and stress reduction. While the outside world was silent, the Jakes house was a place where faith triumphed over fear. The family's friends later revealed that this period of silence turned into a holy season, an opportunity for everyone to stop and reflect on what was most important. Sarah and her family determined that healing had to take place before headlines, despite the fact that millions of people were waiting for an update. The emotional disclosure of the daughter. Sarah eventually spoke up after being silent for weeks. It took place during a Sunday service that was broadcast live from Los Angeles. The church was packed, and there was a lot of emotion in the air. There was a profound silence, no music, and no introduction when Sarah approached the pulpit. Then she started talking, tears welling up in her eyes. She said, "My father has always said that faith isn't proven in calm waters. When the waves begin to rise, it is demonstrated. Our family has been put to the test over the past few weeks, but they have also demonstrated the true power of God." Her words were powerful. The genuineness in her voice was felt by viewers from all across the world. Instead of discussing medical specifics, she talked about appreciation, faith, and trust. She added that their family had seen God's grace every day and that her father was gradually getting better. The church stood in silent solidarity as she spoke, many of them wiping away tears. Videos from the service started circulating online in a matter of hours. Her message was disseminated on all platforms by believers and fans. A moment of solidarity and rekindled hope replaced what could have been a depressing announcement. Sarah's candor served as a reminder to everyone that faith endures despite suffering. Family thoughts and memories. Sarah also talked about tender childhood recollections that demonstrated the close relationship she had with her father. Long before the world knew his name, she remembered waking up early to hear him rehearsing his sermons, filling their home with words of faith. She described how he taught his kids that being strong doesn't imply never failing. Rather, it means knowing how to get back up. She said the family read scripture, listened to gentle gospel music, and considered how far they had come on quiet evenings while he healed. Sometimes, she said, you don't realize how much someone means to you until life forces you to stop and truly see them. The occasion became quite personal as a result of these reflections. Longtime followers of Bishop Jakes felt a connection to the man behind the pulpit as much as to the preacher. He was a parent, a mentor, and a husband who consistently gave more than he kept for himself. The recovery and renewal. As the weeks went by, minor improvements started to surface. Bishop Jakes was recuperating at home and becoming stronger, according to the family. Friends and churchgoers kept praying and sending love-filled cards, letters, and notes. Fear gradually gave way to hope. Sarah disclosed in a subsequent sermon that her father had resumed his outside walks, savoring fleeting moments of sunshine and thankfulness. She remarked, "He's not just getting better, he's getting renewed." This phase evolved into a spiritual recovery rather than just a medical one. According to reports, Bishop Jakes read, thought, and wrote about his experiences for hours. After years of nonstop work, the family called this season a divine pause, a time to relax. Months later, the audience stood and cheered for about 5 minutes in a row when he finally took the platform again. It was a celebration of grace rather than just a welcome. The world's message. Sarah's message extended much beyond her father's health as she spoke to the public once more. God sometimes permits silence so he can speak louder, she remarked. We are all taught by my father's journey that although life is fleeting, meaning endures. Those who had been battling their own struggles were moved by her words. She urged everyone to look after their families, their beliefs, and their health. She emphasized to her audience that even leaders require love and that even powerful individuals require relaxation. The outpouring of supportive letters, healing testimonies, and rekindled faith came from all across the world. The narrative had changed from silence to power, from fear to faith. It was now a lesson about life rather than illness. Final thoughts. Bishop T.D. Jakes is still recovering today, surrounded by his family and his religion. Even though he went through a challenging time, his daughter's bravery in speaking up served as a reminder to everyone that hope doesn't end in the valley. Rather, it starts there. Her remarks still reverberate in homes, churches, and social media. Having faith does not guarantee that life won't rock you. It implies that you won't crumble when it does. This tale is about perseverance rather than sickness. It's about a father's fortitude, a daughter's love, and a family's unwavering faith. Sarah's message serves as a gentle reminder to everyone who has experienced a moment of uncertainty. Love always triumphs, faith always heals, and hope always shines.